You're on, yeah.
Whiskey Butler, Part 2. W.L. Weller, Part 2. Take 3. Howdy! Welcome to the Whiskey Butler. I am your host, Wesley Butler, here to share a little whiskey wisdom with all of you today. This is Part 2 of the W.L. Weller episode. If you recall, in Part 1, we gave a little history, I gave a little history about W.L. Weller. We also tasted the Special Reserve here in the middle. We talked about how W.L. Weller is credited as being the first person to really use the wheated mash bill in his bourbons. So if you missed it, go ahead and check it out. It's Part 1 of this episode. But for Part 2, we're going to get into tasting these other 2 bourbons that you see in front of me right now. So as we step up through the family, the Weller brand family of bourbons, after we go from the Special Reserve, we step up to the Antique 107, right? Gets its name from the proof of the bourbon. It is 107 proof, so it's going to be stronger than what your normal whiskey bourbon that you would find is. The mash bill on it is proprietary. We know it's been aged at least 2 years because it says it's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. But anyone that knows anything about Buffalo Trace knows that they use very few mash bills there. And actually the mash bill on the Weller brand is the same mash bill they use in the Van Winkle family brand of bourbons at Buffalo Trace. So, there are some people out there that try and mix the Special Reserve and the Antique 107 in varying percentages to get that poor man's pappy, or they just call the Weller Special Reserve and the 107 their poor man's pappy. I don't have that kind of time, so I just went ahead and bought the 107. So why don't we try that today? Okay, that's a good idea. All right. So we poured the 107 here. I went ahead and poured it in advance. I said it once before, and I'll say it again. Everyone has their own palate. My palate actually is attracted to higher proof bourbons. So once we get 100 and over, I'm like, yes, let's give it a try, right? You may not be on that, right? I mean, the reason a lot of bourbons whiskey has to be at least 80 proof, right, when it goes into the bottle. And a lot of times, a lot of distillers will make a lower proof whiskey or a lower proof bourbon is because that lower proof has mass appeal, right? It appeals to more people than the higher proof. Me, on the other hand, I'm looking to see if you make a higher proof whiskey or bourbon. The 107 accomplishes that. So let's see what we get with that. Wheated mash bill, corn, wheat, malted barley. Okay, so the nose on it, it's not going to overwhelm you, right? It's not overpowering at all when you smell it on the nose. Yes. So we talked about how I would make the Weller Special Reserve my house bourbon. The Antique 107, it's just as smooth as the Special Reserve, but you taste more of the flavor, right? Why do you taste more of the flavor? Because it's less watered down than the Special Reserve, which is at 90 proof, right? So you're getting less water and you're getting more of what it tastes like, of what the barrel makes it taste like at the 107 proof. It's good. I mean, hey, look, if I can find this everywhere, I might make this my house bourbon at 107. It just means, look, if you come over to my house and you mix 107 with anything other than the glass and maybe a chunk or 2 of ice, you will never get 107 in my house again. I'm just telling you that right now. You don't mix this with any ice, okay? You just drink the 107, you drink it neat. Okay. Maybe I'll let you have a little bit of ice, but you better not put any Coke or ginger ale or Dr. Pepper or tonic water or whatever. No, you don't mix that with this. No, it's not happening. My studio audience over here is making comments in the back. I'm going to have to fire them, okay? Yeah, the 107's really good. 107's really good. All right. So, speaking of how I like higher proofs, we're going to get to the next one here. This is the third one as we're moving up in the Weller family of brands, right? This is Weller Full Proof, okay? Now, you'll hear a lot of things in the industry, full proof, cask strength, barrel strength, whatever. So full proof just means, and this is 114, okay? So this is We're 24 up on the special reserve now, so we're at 114. But foolproof doesn't mean barrel proof. It just means foolproof. It went into the barrel. It didn't come out. Well, I mean, yes, it came out of the barrel, but it went into the barrel at 114, right? So this is the same proof that it went into the barrel. It's non-chill filtered, but now at 114 proof, like I said, you're 24 over this. You're certainly getting a strong proof. I mean, there's going to be some muscle behind it, right? But we're still not talking about the kind of proof that you can run your car on, right? We're still not talking that Everclear. We're still not talking 130, 140, which you can find some whiskeys and bourbons out there that are at that high of proof, okay? So the Weller Foolproof 114. By the way, there's another thing that makes this bottle really special. This bottle is a single barrel select. Picked this up at a place called Barrel in Washington, D.C. It's off Pennsylvania Avenue in the Capitol Hills district. They got great people there. They got a great selection of whiskey. You should check it out if you're ever in town. But let's find out if they picked a good barrel, okay? So this is my virgin tasting of the barrel, single barrel select Weller Foolproof, right? This is my virgin tasting. Let's see what we got here. Again, I think all of the weeded bourbons are going to have a very soft nose, right? You're not going to get this overpowering ethanol, methanol, alcohol taste on the nose. Yeah. You're certainly going to get a lot more flavor. Ooh, I just tasted some fruity flavors in there. It's like cherry or raspberry, something like that. One of those. But anybody in my studio audience got any ideas on what they taste when they taste this Foolproof?
Raisins.
Raisins? Really? You're fired. Okay? There's no raisin taste in this, okay? Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Everybody tastes a little something different. Now, clearly they didn't put any raisins in this, right? But if you taste raisins, hey, look, if you taste raisins, you taste raisins. There is a softer fruity taste on this. I don't think it's raisins, okay? But I think it's cherries or raspberries or something like that, right? But I mean, you get some caramel in there. Actually, you taste the caramel with the fruity flavor in this Foolproof or whatever. But see, that's what happens when you don't put any water in it, right? I mean, this is what happens. You're tasting it, just all that stuff that happens in the barrel, the wood science that goes into it and everything. That's what you're tasting in this versus this, which has been watered down to 90 proof, and this, which is 107. So not that much. But you actually taste more flavors in this than you do even in the 107. So I'm gonna just go ahead and finish this if you don't mind.
Some spice in there. Got a little kick.
I mean, yes, there is a little kick to it, but it's 114 proof. You didn't think it to be. You didn't think it was just gonna sit back and put its feet up and not let you know it was there. Okay, so it's 114 full proof. I'm gonna give the folks at Barrel a thumbs up for the barrel that they selected. This is good. This is good stuff. One thing about these Weller family of brands, it's hard to believe that at one point in time, all of these were considered bottom shelf brands of whiskey, right? Like, you used to be able to pick up Special Reserve for under $20. The rest of these used to be maybe $40, $50 in a liquor store. If you can find any of them in a liquor store, consider yourself lucky, let alone at those prices, right? I mean, so, look, you got your own budget. I mean, I'm not even going to tell you what I paid for this one right here at Barrel or whatever, but, they're really good, right? They're really good. And this one, if you're new to the whiskey, bourbon crowd, I mean, this is certainly softer on the palate. This will help ease yourself into it or whatever. So if you find someone and you're new to it and they're willing to give you some of their Weller Special Reserve, certainly. If you're willing to take a risk, you can try one of these at the higher proofs. You're certainly not going to go wrong. There's certainly some higher proofs out there that aren't as good as these right here. So, that's all I can tell you. But you know what? I was about to say which is my favorite out of all three of these. I'm not going to lie. full proof is my favorite, right? 'Cause I like the higher proofs. I like being able to taste the flavor. I know it's not gasoline, right? It's not going to run your car, but I just like the higher proofs. This is more, if you're sitting around the fire, you got a fire pit going, you got some people over, you got a spare bottle in the basement, right? You're going to let everybody drink this one because you know you got another one, right? This is certainly one that everyone's going to be able to like, right? Everyone's going to be able to like this. This is one, you'll have people sitting around the fire and someone might go, man, I like this special reserve. I wish you had some 107. That's when you text them silently while you're sitting around the fire and you go, I got some 107 in the basement. You want me to give you a pour? Yeah, totally. Just hook me up. Yes, give them some 107. But this, I don't know if I'm just sharing this one with just anybody. The foolproof is where it's at. So there's 4 more in the Weller family of brands. My budget at this point in time does not allow me to taste those for you right now. But I am on the hunt for them at a reasonable price. And if I find them, they'll be in a later episode. So, hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Whiskey Butler. And I want to say have a good day. Thanks for watching.